The Justice Democrats' implosion is now reaching Greek tragedy proportions. Representative Pramila Jayapal went on CNN, and well, here we go. You know, the whole thing about the Justice Democrats is that they were formed so they would vote as a bloc so that they could have sway, just like the Freedom Caucus from the Tea Party, right? So now the Democrats can't pass any bills without the squad's votes. So the squad could negotiate and get things for those votes, but they're not doing it. They're not voting as a group. And now CNN pushed back on them. Cory Bush said, why won't you guys use your leverage and vote as a group? She just said, we're just not going to do it. CNN is noticing. And now here it is. They're asking Pramila Jayapal, the chair of the Progressive Caucus, what she thinks about Joe Biden's performance so far. You ready for this? Sit back. Hold on to your...
One of your fellow progressives in the House, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, says that he's exceeded her expectations and expectations for progressives. Do you agree?
I do.
Well, it turns out they got together on a block over that one, didn't they? They all agree on that. Isn't that funny how when they all can come together, it's an aid of the establishment Democrats? That's the only time that they all come together as a block. Isn't that weird? Okay, here we go.
I think that this has been a really interesting time for us to see how the progressive movement at large, all the progressive voters, young voters, voters of color that came out and turned out for the president in November, helping us to win the White House, the Senate, and the House.
And then him doing absolutely nothing to help those people. In fact, he admonished black civil rights activists who were asking him to do things through executive order that he could do like that to help the black community. And he said, go pound sand.
And the pandemic and the way in which it has just really shined such a bright light on all the inequalities that have existed. I think President Biden has risen to the moment, and I really do give him an A in what he's done so far.
They gave him an A. I guess they gave him an A. Is that A for Adderall? That's what I think that would be it, right? Is it for Alzheimer's? What is that A for? Is that A for bad attitude when he drops the asshole? What is that A? He's going to give him an A. He should get an A for breaking most of his campaign promises, because that's what he's done. We've got no public option. They don't even talk about it. They don't even talk about doesn't even come up. The public option which he ran on because he was against Medicare for all. He said, I'll give you the public option. Not happening. $15 minimum wage. Not happening. He's not relieving student debt. He just gave $20 billion more to the war machine. $20 billion could end homelessness. Do you know that? He just decided to give it to the war machine and get nothing for it. We have Aaron Mate here. Aaron, how would you respond to the Progressive Caucus chair saying that Joe Biden gets an A? Even if Bernie Sanders was president, I don't think we should give him an A. It should be a B+ tops, because we should always be pressuring to do more. But go ahead.
Yeah, and what has he given them that's required any sacrifice on his part, right? I mean, maybe if he had fought for something, gotten a big concession from Joe Manchin or the Republicans, but what is it? Nothing. He sold out on everything that they oppose, like the minimum wage, which was supposed to be a top priority for all of them. He already had said he would veto Medicare for all, so fine, we're not going to get that from him at least now. But even on the thing that he said he supported, he caved on immediately. So how do you give someone an A when they're not fighting for anything and they're not getting anything that requires any political sacrifice, and they're even caving on the stuff that they say that they support?
Joe Biden isn't even living up to his own expectations. Yeah. He said it's $50 minimum wage, and I also can't get over anyway. Well, let's move on to this. So there it is. Exceeding expectations is one way of putting it, and this is great. It says mass deportations, check. Keeping kids in cages, check. Not canceling student debt, check. Increase police budget, check. Increase. So after all the people of color came out to vote for him after a whole summer of protests, he's increasing the police budgets and militarizing them even more. He bombed Syria, check. No wealth tax, check. No health care, check. No minimum wage raise, check. Exceeding expectations. He's exceeding expectations, Ron. He's exceeding them.
And I am shocked that the guy who on the campaign trail, anyone who questioned him on anything, he just told them to go vote for Trump. And then during a time of historic civil unrest, picked a cop for his VP, isn't actually coming through on anything. I am totally shocked at this.
Well, are you not shocked that Pramila Jayapal and the complete capitulation and gaslighting and just straight out lying? That's just lying. That's not just bullshitting anymore. That's just straight up lying what she just did, right?
Well, the sad part is, like, you could still hold his feet to the fire and be the diplomatic politician. It's not like you have to completely bullshit and be like, he gets an A. You can still say, if you're a politician and you have to kind of play the game, you could still say things like, okay, he did a couple nice executive orders. That was good. But I just reintroduced Medicare for all and he's promised to veto it. And that's a problem. We can't accept that. You can still do that and be a politician.
Whatever happened to vote for Joe Biden and then we're going to push him left? What
right.
the F?
I agree.
What the F happened to that? Are you flummoxed as I am, Aaron, at the complete capitulation by the and what are they doing that for?
I am, and I feel dumb because I didn't expect it. I was actually arguing that there was going to be an effort to push him left, and I was on board. I was excited for that, and it hasn't happened. It was like, remember when during First the Vote, when AOC was trying to explain to Justin Jackson why we couldn't force the vote for Medicare for all? She said we have to use our leverage for things like minimum wage, and then Biden goes and caves on minimum wage, and there's no leverage being used at all. Nothing.
She got kicked off her committee. They didn't get the force to vote. They didn't get minimum wage. They got nothing.
What we got was that article, and you covered it, where Ron Klain, as chief of staff, makes an effort to like their tweets.
Yes.
And they're thrilled with that.
That's it.
And then that's all they need.
Ron Klain, Joe Biden's chief of staff, gives the progressives a pat on the head. And they're like, oh, isn't that nice? We got recognized by the guy from the White House. Yeah. Like they get thrilled like they just met Elvis. It's Rob Klain. It's fucking an idiot. What are you doing? So the biggest healthcare advocate in Congress, Representative Pramila Jayapal, gives Biden an A rating after he abandoned the public option, Medicare expansion, and pharmaceutical price controls. He promised to veto Medicare for all, her signature piece of legislation, the thing that 9 out of 10 Democrats want. He won't even give us Medicare expansion and won't give us the public option. He's giving us nothing for health care. That's her signature issue, and she's giving him an A. So, I don't know what you think the Justice Democrats are doing. And does it matter why they're selling you out like this? Does it matter if they take corporate money, or if it doesn't matter that they're doing this to secure their place in the party? Whatever reason, does it matter why they're doing this? Does it matter what brand of corruption they're practicing right now? Because this is corrupt. They're not doing what they were sent to do. This is corruption, plain and simple. They're corrupted by the Democratic Party. They've been emasculated, as Chris Hedges has pointed out, and they're never going to fight for you. This is ridiculous. This is them doing the exact opposite of what everybody who donated to them thought they would do. This is the exact opposite of what their people who worked on their campaign, volunteers, people who door knocked, people who phone banked for them. This is the exact opposite. They are betraying you at nuclear speed. And do you give a shit that they don't take corporate money when they betray you at a nuclear level like this? I don't think that matters. And why would you even fucking bother to even talk about that they don't take corporate money? Who gives a shit? They are complete abject fucking failures who are selling you out right in your face. They are flipping you off with both fucking hands. And why do you does it matter that they don't take corporate money? It doesn't matter one bit. It doesn't matter one bit. They are sellouts and they are corrupted by something. Does it matter that they're not corrupted by fucking corporate money? No, they're corrupted by something. When Representative Jayapal introduced Medicare for all, she emphasized that a third of COVID deaths are associated with uninsurance. Tens of millions are still uninsured because Joe Biden decided not to expand Medicare, and she just gave him an A. And again, he promised to veto Medicare for all, just so you know. Joe Biden is leaving millions without health care in a pandemic. Truly disturbing that Pramila Jayapal would normalize this. It is truly. And here she is. Here's AOC saying Medicare for all bill has been on the floor of Congress since 2003. The bill is 15 years old. A stream of studies from both left and right have shown both the funding mechanisms and immense cost savings of Medicare for all system. Almost every modern nation has that. She tweeted that out in 2018. Of course, she's not going to say that now when Joe Biden's president. She's never going to say that now when Joe Biden's president. So what you have to do is stop donating to the Justice Democrats. And until YouTube hosts start telling their viewers to stop donating to Pramila Jayapal and AOC and Ilhan Omar and Ro Khanna and Ayanna Pressley and Mark Pocan, until they tell them to stop donating to them, they're just bullshitting you. They're still bullshitting you. Because that's your mechanism to hold them accountable. The mechanism to hold the Justice Democrats accountable when they sell you out and flip you off with both hands right in your face like you are stupid suckers. The mechanism to hold them accountable is to tell people to stop donating to them. So Cenk Uygur will never do that because he's afraid to offend politicians now. He's going to say it lovingly. He'll say it lovingly. Anyway, there's nothing else left to say about this. This is farcical. This is like a farce now. I mean, how do you parody what Representative Jayapal just said? How do you parody Joe? He's getting an A. How do you parody that now? You say he's getting an A plus. I don't know. How do you make it funnier? You can't do it. The Justice Democrats are unparodyable. They're that pathetic. Do you have anything you want to add to the end of that, Aaron?
Well, I'm just thinking, imagine Jeremy Corbyn in the UK. Like, let's say like Keir Starmer, the head of the Labour Party, became the prime minister. And Keir Starmer, whatever, gave some extra money more than Boris Johnson for education and for families. And then, but still was like presiding over millions of people without health care and cutting benefits and waging foreign wars and sanctions. And then Jeremy Corbyn would give him an edge. It wouldn't happen. So in this country, for some reason, to be an establishment leftist, you have to just compromise everything. You have to sell out everything to the point where, remember when AOC had like a friendly tweet with Jeremy Corbyn? It was like, great to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. And then somebody protested and said, you know, how, because Jeremy called Jeremy Corbyn anti-Semite, and AOC apologized for being friendly with Jeremy Corbyn. And that's what they do. They apologize. Whenever they take a real authentic left position, they apologize and they walk it back. It's something about this country. I've never seen it like this before, where you have just all the establishment leftists just are so constrained in what they say.
Constrained is one way. Ron, anything you want to add?
Well, that's because, I mean, establishment leftists should be an oxymoron.
Should be.
I mean, it shouldn't be a thing. And you know, hell, if it was working, that'd be one thing. I wouldn't care if like politicians bullshitting was actually working. I wouldn't care in that case. But it's not. It's a one-way street. They're coddling this guy to no end, and working people are getting absolutely nothing. If we were getting even half of just what the guy promised on the campaign trail, if it was like, well, that's kind of bullshit giving him an A, but in fairness, we have a $15 minimum wage now. That's pretty good. And, you know, they pushed him on a Green New Deal. He's more embracing of a Green New Deal. And he did, you know, he canceled student loan debt. If we were even getting half, I could be like, all right, whatever. But we're getting nothing. Zilch. Nothing.
And we're not even getting COVID relief. $1,400 one-time check. That is not COVID
right.
relief.
Yeah, that $2,000 that was going out the door immediately, huh?
No other country is doing it like this. Just so you know. And by the way, almost no other news show will tell you that. Certainly they won't tell you that on CNN and MSNBC. Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.